Buy yourself an iced honey bun, eat that, coffee, hot dog, get some gas, get on the road, all right? That's usually the way it goes. Yo, what's up guys, we're back at it. Today I want to show you the essential items you'll need for your next motorcycle road trip. So what it comes down to is having the stuff you need most readily available. Say you come to a gas station, you want to be able to grab what you need quickly. You don't want to have to dig through everything. And the most important thing I found, lens cleaner. If you're on a road trip, you're going to get hit by bugs. That's if you're wearing a helmet, or it hits you in the face, whatever you like. Lens cleaner, all right? You don't want to be smearing your visor. You do it once and then you're gonna have bug guts all over you and you won't see anything. Invest in a little good bottle of bug cleaner, wipe it off at the gas station. You can even rinse off this with some water, let it dry, rinse and repeat. You can even clean the front of your windscreen if you have one on your bike too. Eye drops, keep it close by. The wind in your face over hours, those eyes are gonna dry out, especially if you have contacts. Keep a pair of sunglasses close by. It's important. We've got face wipes. You're gonna be sweaty. You're gonna be riding all day long. Got these from CVS. They stay pretty moisturized. That way your face is not all nasty feeling, all right? What I learned, a little secret here, when you go to the hotel motels, snag a few of these little makeup removers. They work just as well. Especially when I was riding cross country, I just started taking a bunch of them, all different types. They all work the same, and you smell good afterwards. Now in my other saddlebag, the essential source of life, water, or your favorite drink. Could be those Dunkin' coffee things, just make sure they're not in there too long, because those need to be refrigerated. No Starbucks one too, but water, Sprite, whatever keeps you caffeinated. I also have in here batteries. If you're gonna be filming, vlogging, whatever, you need to have batteries close by because your cameras are gonna run out. I've got a whole bunch of batteries for all different cameras. Now one thing that's really good to have is a pair of just clear glasses. These are just clear plastic frame glasses I got on Amazon. Because if you're riding at night and you don't feel like switching out your visor, you can just simply slide these on, lift up your visor, and then you can see at night. You're gonna get a little breeze, but these are for, you know, emergencies. You don't wanna be riding with your tinted visor at night, because then that's more dangerous. So a little wind in your face can't hurt for a few hours or minutes, hopefully not too long. Now, what I use here when I'm at a gas station, I'm traveling by myself, I wanna make sure my bike is secure. This is just a disc brake alarm, and it's an audible device, so all you have to simply do is click it on and it's motion activated. If anyone touches your bike, it's gonna set off the alarm. It's really loud. So what I'll usually do is if I'm going to the restroom or whatever, I'll just clip it right on here. But you need two of these disc brake alarms. At nighttime, when you're ready to tuck your bike in bed, you just simply click it right on the disc rotor. Same thing, if anyone touches a bike, that alarm's going off, they're gonna be running away, all right? And they can't roll the bike away because the lock will stay in place. It's impossible. Get two of these. Now, if you're on a motorcycle, an essential thing you'll need is battery power for your phone. Usually, most people I know that are sane will use Google Maps, all right, Waze, whatever. It's not the 1920s anymore. We don't memorize maps. Anyways, we need to have a phone mount, and we need a phone, and we need constant supply of power. Now, what I use is just an adapter that attaches right to your motorcycle battery. You run a cable, a USB cable. This is a braided one. Make sure they're not the cheap ones because it's gonna bend and move. We don't want that one that's gonna fray. All right, you want a braided USB cable. This one's 6 feet long, even though it's just from the battery box to the handlebars. You want to get one a little slack. Make sure you kind of tuck it somewhere safe so it doesn't snag in the chain and it doesn't flop around loose. You don't want to get your leg stuck in it or something. So I just simply tucked it once through here. Now this phone mount is from Ram. It's like the Ram X mount, X grip, I apologize. You simply just have to squeeze it, drop your phone in there, make sure it's not resting on the power button or else your phone's gonna turn off. And then we use these little rubber spots here. I just use two, you don't need to waste all four. These things tend to break eventually if they're out in the sun a long time, the elastic might break. So I recommend just using two. And if they break, flip it over and use the other two. Now here's the life hack. These are called Plugfones. They look like headphones. You connect them to your phone like normal, but what it does, it reduces wind noise buffeting so you're not going deaf when you're riding. You don't want just to plug it in like this because the wind eventually is going to pull it out. So a simple trick, just put it underneath like so. That way when the wind's blowing, it hits that, but it won't fall out. You don't have to worry about keep plugging these in. And especially you don't want this falling out, hitting in your chain and getting all mangled up and then you flying off the bike. Another good option is just to kind of snake it underneath the rubber grip, and then you can plug it in behind the cable, and that way it's really not going anywhere. All right, so let's peel back the layers of the onion here. The most important things we want are on the outside. Now, on the inside of the saddlebag, it's a little trickier to get to because you're gonna have your duffel bag on top, but I'll keep them secured with locks just to deter people. One lock on this bag, one lock on this bag, so that way you just can't unzip it. But like I said, you're gonna have the disc brake alarm so they can't move the bike regardless. Anyways, the more security things you see, the better, just to scare away people. Now in this saddlebag, what I like to keep is, first off, my motorcycle cover. It's important that it comes in a bag, that way you can compress it, and if it's dirty or wet, it won't get all over your other stuff. At nighttime, we don't want our bike exposed to the elements. One for safety, one for the safety of the bike. All right, we don't want water getting all on it and squirrels eating the wires. All right, well here's a good life hack. This is just a bungee cord with the carabiners on it. You want to get one that's long enough that it's going to wrap around your bike when it's covered. All right, basically the idea is with the motorcycle cover on, you don't want wind getting underneath it, becoming a parachute and knocking over your bike. So you want to wrap your bike, what's pretty windy right now, with just a carabiner. You can get a big set and see what measurements work for your bike. Just clip it around it once the bike is all wrapped up at night. Next we have our motorcycle chain lube. I like to keep it in a bag, that way it's not getting everywhere. My chain guard. Some of the lube tends to be more viscous. Some of them spray and some of them's a foam. This one tends to spray a little bit. So I advise getting an adapter. It just goes onto it like so. Attach the nozzle, clips right in, and it really directs the lube where you want it to go. Now next what I have here is an emergency canister of gasoline. I got this from Revzilla. I'm sure there's other makers that make them, but this is important to have just in case. All right, when you're in the middle of the desert or wherever, it just feels good having peace of mind knowing you got a little extra there in case things go sideways. And you're gonna overspill some, so once you do that, wipe it off and then put it in your bag, or else your bike's gonna smell like gasoline. Next we have what's called a Grayl. Now this is a water filtration system, works up to 300 uses. Basically you can pour any type of water in there. I just use it tap water at the hotel motels, and then you simply just pour it in the tube. There's a line to fill it up to, and then you press the filter down on it, and by the time it reaches the top, it's filtered. So get yourself a Grayl. This thing has saved me many times, the holy grail, you know. You can even use it like gas stations in the bathroom. It's pretty nasty, but if you're thirsty, the Grayl works really well, and the water tastes really good too. Speaking of clean water, I've got something called the LifeStraw too. This one's neat if you're on a hike or something like that. If you're about that life, you can just walk up to any babbling brook and you simply open it up, drink it straight from the source, from Mother Nature. It's called a LifeStraw. It's pretty neat. I have my other spare disc lock in here, which I'll use for the bike at night. The other one I'll use for the bag during gas stations. And lastly, on this side, I have, it's like an emergency satellite beacon thingy, all right? Kind of pricey, but if you're in the middle of nowhere with no reception, you're able to activate this, and then an emergency helicopter will rescue you. Now on the other saddlebag, once again, I have a lock here so people just can't rummage through it. And inside this one, mostly I keep my gear for recording. You can keep whatever you want, but once again, if you're doing filming, you want to have your batteries most accessible. So I keep the batteries on the outside, but on the inside, I have my audio recording device. This one's by Fifine. That's what I'm using right now. Just it comes with a nice 3-piece set, 2 mics, and a adapter attached to your camera. I keep my other cameras in here in a bag, as well as this is the Zoom recorder. You get some good exhaust notes with this recorder. Warm gloves, all right? Winter riding gloves. These ones are electric. You can turn them on, 3 modes of heat. These come in clutch, all right? Even though it's summer, at night when you're riding maybe in the desert or somewhere, it gets cold, all right? These saved me. I was riding a few weeks ago in February, all right, in 7-degree weather for hours on end, for 5 hours, all right? And these saved me. Regardless, I was frozen to the bone, but without these, I would have had frostbite on my fingers. I got my tripod in here. It's like a clown act. tripod and the one that I'm recording right now with. Now you see on top of my duffel bag, I always keep a fleece or an extra layer because when you're riding, even though it's a bright sunny day, who knows if the weather can change on a dime. You just want an extra layer and you don't want to dig through everything. So I just put a nice, this is a Uniqlo Heat Tech fleece right on top of the bag. So let's dive into the duffel bag. This is more for emergency stuff. Now this is a 40-liter waterproof dry pack. I can put a link down below for all these good stuff. It takes a few minutes to unsecure it. That's why this is only for emergencies. But inside the duffel bag, I'll have another layer. This is a great winter layer. It's actually by Freeze Out, thermal protection it's called. So I'll have another jacket there, rain jacket by Joe Rocket, but it's important to have layers, all right? When you're riding, doesn't matter the temperature, like I said, it can start raining. We wanna have layers, we wanna have protection. Nothing's worse than being cold and miserable on the bike and then going faster and being more cold and more miserable. So we got rain layers, we have extra heat layers. Sometimes I'll be riding with 5-6 layers on. I look like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but I'm warm, all right? It's about getting from A to B, all right, alive. I also have a pair, these are called Tesla pants. This is like a pair of tights you wear underneath your riding jeans. Just a really good thermal layer that's thin. Even getting insulated thin gloves you could wear underneath your riding gloves is a good idea. So when you're traveling, especially on a motorcycle, it's important to maximize your space. Now your clothing is no exception. I like to keep all of it in just like a neat clothing bag. That way it's not rolling around the place. And realistically, try to get clothing that's moisture wicking, stuff that you could, say run under the sink, rinse it out with some soap, wear it the next day. All right, we're not trying to win any awards here when you're riding. We're just trying to get there comfortably and not smell like a wildebeest, all right? Lastly, in the duffel bag, it's important to have some tools. I'm sure your bike has some tools under the seat maybe. Just bring what you think you'll need. Allen wrenches, multi-tools, things you might need in an emergency. As far as riding gear, it's important to have a jacket that matches what you're gonna be doing, all right? Right now, I'm in Florida, it's 80-something degrees. I'm wearing a light, breathable mesh jacket, but it's important to have one that protects you, but it's also very functional. This one's got high-vi, front, back, sides, and what I really like about this jacket is that it has a pocket here, a big pocket, which I keep my gloves and I keep my headphones. So when you're at a gas station, you don't have to, it's not a whole procedure. You just take them off, shove them in there, go into the gas station mart, buy yourself an iced honey bun, eat that, coffee, hot dog, get some gas, get on the road, all right? That's usually the way it goes. On the right side here, really easy, simple. I have my wallet, I keep my keys. One thing that's important, especially if you're traveling solo, you gotta have some protection there. This, just a simple knife, all right? This will scare away anybody, I'm sure, if they're trying to rob you, all right? What do they say? They said, if they have a gun, you charge them. If they have a knife, you run. As far as leg wear, I like to wear moto jeans. These look like normal jeans, but they have CE armor in the knees. So I just like not always looking like a freaking MotoGP racer, all right? Just kind of keeping it casual, but at the same time being safe. And obviously the most important thing when riding is a helmet. DOT certified, ECE certified. This is a HJC I-70. You wanna make sure you get a helmet that's just not gigantic looking on you. You wanna make sure it fits you perfectly, fits you snug. You don't want it moving around when you're wearing it. Whoa! When you're wearing it, you don't want to have any play. You want to make sure it's snug, but not too tight. You don't want to squeeze your brains out. You're going to be riding for hours, so you want to get something that's comfortable, but safe. You want to make sure you get something for your head shape, either intermediate oval or round. You need to play around. You can buy some on Amazon, try them, return them, but it's important to protect your noggin. I know it's America. I know we're talking about freedom and all that in certain states, but if you go down in a spill, you want to be able to get back on the horse and keep riding, all right? I always advise riding with a good helmet. Guys, I hope this was helpful. It's springtime now, so get all your riding essentials ready, get the bike ready, get out there, experience the freedom, keep the rubber side down. Let's go.